thrilled that you could join us today for our live stream and a talk with one of our favorite guests. We have been doing a series on the art of conversation, and we have been talking with podcasters. Now, what's a podcast, you ask? Well, if you can remember the time when you used to lie in bed and your mother or father read you a story, how nice is it not to be bombarded by video, by TV, by your screens, by Amazon Prime, by Netflix, all of these things that we're constantly watching, not to mention if you sit in front of a screen for work. How nice is it to sit back and listen, to have somebody entertain you, inform you, just talk to you? Well, with podcasts, you can do that. And if you're interested in learning more about how to access podcasts or how to find the ones that you want, you can go to our YouTube page, Marco Island Center for the Arts, and we have a tutorial that also gives you a link where you can download more information. Now, today, I have a very special guest who is also a friend of mine, a gentleman of many, many, many talents, as you will learn. I'd like to introduce everybody to Randall Kenneth Jones, who's here to talk with us about his podcast, which is Jones Show. Hi, Randy, how are you?
Well, I'm fine, but I'm looking like I'm totally bored and disengaged in this. I'm trying to share the live feed on Facebook, and I just don't know if I did it right. It's so stressful.
You know something?
I do conveniently have a coffee mug with Jones.show, Jonesing for Good on it.
Very good. Well, you know something, Randy? I want the people who have joined in with us, who are our Art Center friends and family, those people who either aren't going out or just haven't gotten here to Marco Island, or maybe were never on Marco Island and have just found us through the wonders of the internet. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect with your podcasts and sort of the history of how it came about.
It's quite a story, and I'll try to give a thumbnail. Moved to Florida, to Naples, Marco, 2009. Knew there were people to meet who could teach me. I was in my late 40s. I still want to learn every day. I want to learn from people. I do promote conversation. Conversation's important. I knew there are a lot of extraordinary people here. Went to the Naples Daily News, said, hey, does anybody interview all these successful people? They said, no, do you want to do it? I said, yes. Had a column for 4 years in the Naples Daily News where I interviewed, and I started interviewing, really, it was a business column, but then I realized everybody works. Everybody does. And so I went from retired CEOs and CFOs and CMOs to Cassie DePaiva from Days of Our Lives, to Jack Hanna, Jungle Jack Hanna, because everybody had something to teach about a better way to work, a better way to live. And it grew from there. That, after 4 years, became this, Show Me, the book Show Me. We happen to have it. Conveniently, the book Show Me is for sale at the gift shop at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. So you can go to the Marco Island Center for the Arts and buy your very own copy of Show Me. And it was fascinating because I was meeting, Susie Orman is in here, Sonny Jorgensen, the list goes on and on and on. I look up as if the sky is going to give me the list, and the sky is not going to do it. I missed it so much, Hyla, because once the column was done, the book came out, and I did all the book stuff and the promotional stuff, and I still talk about all the lessons I've learned, which has been extraordinary. But since my focus was always on looking for the best in people, and this is since 2012, I missed it. So podcasting was becoming the thing 3 years ago, and with a woman named Susan Bennett, who is the original voice of Siri, voice of Siri, with Susan Bennett as my kind of partner in crime, as my announcer, I launched Jones.show. Because I'd had so many people say, it would have been so fun to hear you interview person X, whoever it was that I happened to interview at the time. I was like, wow, well, we could make that happen. And podcasting makes that happen.
Well, and I love I love
We're getting ready to record show number 100 for the podcast.
That is amazing, Randy. And I have to tell you, as much as, and I have certainly enjoyed this book, I have given it as a gift. I do find your writing.
Have you enjoyed this book?
I've enjoyed this book.
It's wonderful.
It is a wonderful.
If you go to the gift shop at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, you can buy yours. So
absolutely, but again, it is the tone that you create that is very inspiring. You do look for the very best in people, and that is why the narratives that you create, the conversations that you have, are really a joy to listen to. And it's why, as much as I loved reading what you wrote, I really enjoy hearing your voice and having a chance to just sit and listen to these wonderful conversations. That's really amazing. That I can't believe how long you've been doing this now. It's crazy.
I love to have a good time. I love people. I love meeting people. I am truly that guy that when I go to an event and I say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I want to know the answer. I'm not making small talk. I actually do want to know. And this just gives me the chance to do that. And to literally look for the best in different people has been fascinating. In the podcast, my most popular show is Bird from Judge Judy. Okay. Officer Bird. Who you watch him on Judge Judy and you're going to think, here's a serious kind of gruff man. He's hysterical. He is unhinged. There is another side to Petrie Hawkins Bird that is absolutely hysterical. My second most popular show had Benatar.
And I know there's a story about Pat Benatar.
There is a story. And you know what? I'm not going to tell that story. You should go to Jonestown Show and you should listen to Pat and I talk about how we met in 1982, because we tell that story.
And that is a great story. Now, you've talked about the ones that are the most popular, Randy, but I'm curious for you, and I know that all of your guests are really marvelous, and you've made a good point that the art of conversation isn't just the talking, it's the listening.
And I was talking about this. My next show on Thursday is Daniel Post-Senning from the Emily Post Institute. The Post family has kept Emily's legacy alive in such a brilliant way. And Emily's book on etiquette is 99 years old. It's 100 years old. It was written in 1922. And it's 100 years old. The family is planning to launch the 20th anniversary. But and Daniel Post, who I've known, Peggy Post, obviously, is a very dear friend of mine. I love the Post family. They're very good to me. He's doing my show this Thursday. And that's one of the things we talked about. There's a difference between hearing and listening. There's a big difference. You can hear someone and not listen to them because the concept of listening takes concentration. And if I'm being very candid, part of what prompted me also to do this was I talked too much.
Randy?
I know. I realized I have sent you in such a tailspin and such a shock, but I wasn't listening well. I was hearing, but I was also listening for, frankly, something to respond to be the clever guy or whatever. And I wanted to learn how to listen and not just hear people. And you don't have any choice. To use once again Susie Orman. When you're sitting across from Susie Orman, you're going to listen. I mean, it's just going to happen. So, and it was me challenging myself. And I want there's so many aspects of my mantra that are important, that you're never too old to create, that you can always do something new. But I really don't believe in the old adage, you can teach an old dog new tricks, because if not, that dog's just lazy.
Randy, trust me, the fact that we are sitting here coming to people through the internet in front of a camera was never something I ever thought I would be doing. So I have certainly learned some new tricks during the last year, I would say.
I literally, there's a chapter in the book about me being a DJ in college, and I thought it was terrible. I thought I had the wrong voice. I thought it was high-pitched. It was nasal. I said I would never do it. And here, local Peter Thomas, who is featured in the book, who is literally, as a voiceover god, narrated my life, said, no, Randy, you're wrong. Well, when one of the most famous voiceover people ever tells you that your perception of yourself is wrong, you better listen.
Mm-hmm.
And his point was my heart was more important, and my humor and my knowledge and my consideration and passion was more important than whether or not I sound a little nasal.
It's okay. I've always sounded denasal. You get through it. As long as people hear us, it's fine. Now, Randy, I do want to have you talk to us a little bit because people sort of heard and gotten a sense of the nature of the podcast. And of course, the wonderful book Show Me, which can be purchased at the Marco Island Center for the Arts Gift Gallery. I want to talk a little bit more about you, Randy, because we are friends, and I know that you have a very interesting history of what sort of led you along this way, and we want to learn a little bit more about you. Obviously, you're a writer, you're a podcaster, I know you have experience in marketing. What sort of led you into this field? Why have you chosen this kind of a career path?
I'm an arts kid.
What does that mean?
I am who I am because of my arts education. I excelled at speech. I excelled at competitive speech. I was in drama. I was in band. I sang. I am not artistic insofar as drawing things, painting, that type of thing, but I'm an art director. I literally have the vision to be able to work with other people. I am absolutely 100% who I am because of my arts education. Anytime, and it's the soapbox, and don't forgive me, this is my soapbox. Anytime we give a child a chance to express themselves, use that creative part of their brain, express themselves, get up in front of people and feel comfortable. When we hear that, even if you're singing with a group, you're still in front of people. Anytime we let them express that creativity, foster that creativity, and get up in front of people, that's going to benefit them. I don't care what you go into. Chances are I teach public speaking. And I come at it from a prospect. Getting over the fear is the first thing. I literally tell my students in public speaking, no one has died from public speaking. It has never happened. You will not die from public speaking. It will not happen. But anytime we teach a child, or frankly an adult, to be comfortable getting up and expressing themselves, being creative, singing, speaking, whatever, we're doing them a great service, because I can't think of anything you could do where the ability to speak is important.
Again, that's how we engage as human beings, and it is so important. It is a communication skill that in this day and age, when we're all texting and messaging and emailing people, that ability to get up and communicate either to an individual or to a group using your actual voice is really important.
Where that leads is I had a woman on this year, fascinating, Amelia Antonetti, who's a human behaviorist. She's been on Oprah, she's been on Steve Harvey, and she was talking to me about the difference between my passion, which was for the arts, was for performing. I'm a performer, I'm a comedian, I'm a singer. People locally may have seen me do something. Your passion and your purpose. And here I am in my 50s, late 50s, discovering the difference because of Amelia and going, this is my purpose. My passion may have always been performing and entertaining, but my purpose is bringing all of it together. Everything went down a path and came together and gave me a chance as a public speaker, as a trainer, as an interviewer, to create this media with the purpose of hopefully allowing people to learn. And actually listening became part of my purpose. Go figure. The thing I didn't think I could do. Speaking, broadcasting became part of my purpose, a tool, something I didn't think I could do.
Well, I think you've done it, and you do it extraordinarily well. And I really hope that, is there a particular platform that you suggest that people sign on to access the Jones.show?
If you literally go to, for me, if you go to www.jones.show, that is a website.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It literally, and it's right there, and it gives you Siri's bio and my bio, and it gives you the whole history of everything. People who have an iPhone don't even realize it, but there is should be, unless you removed it, a purple podcast icon right there, already there, waiting for you to go in and search Jones.show. Right, it's a purple podcast icon. It's right there to search it. But, yes, would I love everyone to listen to me? Obviously I do. But I also want to say, for those who grew up on like talk radio, my dad listens to the same talk radio station he's always listened to. That's what this is. It's just talk radio on demand. You may have access to a million different outlets. You don't even know it because you haven't opened the purple thing. Every topic imaginable can be covered on a podcast. So if not Jones.show, which is the best podcast that there is ever in the world, the one you should listen to, if it's not Jones.show, find the one that suits you. And I mean that very sincerely.
Again, the reason we decided to bring several podcasters to our audience was to let people know that this is a really great way to learn, to relax, to laugh, to connect. I certainly know now that I enjoy it. I've always been a big fan of public radio, which is how they frequently create, they report on stories or their marvelous narratives and inspirational things about people. But now, as time is busy and working, I can now look for what I want and have it, as you said, on demand. My last question, Randy, and I can't wait to hear what this is. Who or what has really inspired you? And I guess I say it in the broadest sense of the word, because you are so multi-talented, doing so many different things, all of them sort of centered around engagement and communication and really creating that connection with people. And I know that learning and education is sort of central to who and what you are. So who or what, or even a couple of people, have been real inspirations for you?
For me, that's the coolest question ever. It is not as simple, but it's a ridiculously wonderful, pinch yourself, Randy, answer. 10 years ago, the focus was me. 10 years ago, it was my talent. What can I do? I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's not that anymore. Because I have this ridiculous support system of women who I have met through the book, through the podcast. Siri, Susan Bennett, Siri, has inspired me and works with me and supports me, and she's done 3 shows herself. I mean, it's crazy who's in there. I mentioned Amelia Antonetti, Peggy Post, who I've mentioned, Peggy Post from the Emily Post Institute. Ridiculously dear to me, and I don't know, I wouldn't be who I am today. I mean, she wrote the foreword for the book. She wrote the foreword for the book. I talk to her all the time. She advises me all the time. Siri advises me. Amelia Antonetti, who I mentioned before, who is and I'm analyzing human behavior. Oh my gosh, she literally flew to Naples in a pandemic to meet me.
Wow.
And she knows Oprah. So I mean, what a blessing. But I have to say, the fact that I text Pat Benatar is the most shocking thing in the world to me. I met her in 1982. She's inspired me her entire life, my entire life, for being such a good person. And the fact that I've been able to meeting and interviewing in the book and having her on the podcast is staying in touch. That I am inspired directly, not by just her as a musician, but by her as a human being. And as you know, Erin Brockovich, who is one of my closest friends, one of the people most important. I mean, to be advised constantly by Erin Brockovich about your platform, that's just crazy. She wrote the introduction for the book. She does my podcast. She's done it 3 times. If I'm feeling down, let me tell you, she somehow knows it, and there's the phone with Erin saying, what's going on? Unbelievable. What she means. But then, I'm going to do a little local shout outs.
Okay.
And I want to talk about my friend Melissa. Melissa Phillips locally, who
is so responsible for so much of this. Someone who is known locally as a philanthropist, who is brilliant at what she does, who I get to work with in the nonprofit area right now. We work on projects together, and she inspires me literally every day.
Randy, this is a friendship that we share, and as a fellow person who is working in the field of philanthropy and fundraising, she is a remarkable woman, and we might as well
give ridiculous. No, let's call it what it is. I've known her for 10 years. She's ridiculous. I have never had another human being, whether it's the philanthropy, the cause, we work with the Immokalee Foundation, which we love, and supporting those kids, which is amazing. But it doesn't just stop there. The problem solving and the creativity, and Randy, what about this, and this? I've never had anyone be able to finish my creative sentences the way Melissa Phillips does. It's just never happened. So, and I say that because this is local and so many people will know her, and if you don't, you should.
You absolutely should. And again, Melissa is involved with the Immokalee Foundation, which does very
important
work.
And I work with them as well, so near and dear to my heart. But it's an educational foundation. So of course that's where I want to be. And I have never worked to that degree with an educational foundation. I have never worked with nonprofit to that degree. My marketing and communications was like Sears and Pennies and Pier 1 and Washington Post and Wall Street Journal. And that kind of, I was working with major names. I've never done anything like that. Absolutely fascinating. What the Immokalee Foundation does for those kids is extraordinary. And what I'm able to do to support their mission is only made possible because of Melissa's guidance.
Well, she is a leader in the field and does remarkable work, especially for the Immokalee Foundation, and has worked for several not-for-profits in leadership capacity. So I could not agree with you more, Randy. We could go on with this for a while, but I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to have you here.
Scream and shout again. I'm going to scream and shout again about Hyla Crane. And all of you who are out there keeping the arts organizations alive for kids like me. And I thank you. It's ridiculously hard to do. It is the responsibility of all of the rest of us to come on your shows, to speak on your behalf, to write you the checks, to do whatever is necessary. All of the people that are going to your gala this weekend, all of whom I am asking to write $1 million check to Marco Island. Write a $1 million check this weekend to the Marco Island Center for the Arts, please. Well, no, just do it. You're keeping it alive. And I can't even, I'm not directly involved in the arts like I used to be. I'm certainly not like you are. I truly don't think I can truly imagine what it's like to every day think, how am I going to keep this going? We, the community, we, your public, we, your friends, we have to do that. And we have to salute those of you who are doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Randy. Being a leader here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, where I'm going to celebrate 7 years in this position in February. It is both a pleasure and a privilege.
You're not old enough to have worked here for 7 years.
Oh, yeah, I sure am.
Oh, my goodness. You started at 16 in this job?
I did. Crazy, right, my friend?
I can't believe how that would happen.
No, it is. I'm not going to say that in these unprecedented times, this has not been without challenges, and it has been. Being a small business, being a not-for-profit, and an arts organization has all certainly been well, challenging, but we have been open since June 1st. We have opened exhibitions. We are adjusting to what protocols need to be observed, holding classes with smaller sizes, doing the cleaning we need to do. Interior events are very small, and frankly, anything we can move outside, we do. Our music
And
series.
you can support the Marco Island Center for the Arts by going to the gift shop and buying Show Me. How amazing that you could do that. And that would be great. And then after you do that and go, you could actually look for it. There's Siri, actually. That's Siri. That's good. You can go to jones.show and listen to me talk some more.
You could, and I know that a lot of people who have watched this and will watch it later are going to be tuning in. Thank you, Randy. I really appreciate it.
Really my pleasure.
You know, why do we keep it going? We keep it going for people out there like you who are watching this. We keep it going for our students, young and old, for our artists who need our support. We want to be an economic driver for them. We want to be a place for them to congregate. We keep it open for our members, our volunteers, a visitor who comes in, because when you set foot in the Marco Island Center for the Arts, you become part of the Marco Island Center for the Arts. What? You know it. Family. I want to give you a couple of things that are coming up, people. February is going to be a really busy month, so I'll be rolling out some announcements because we're adding some programming. But on February 11th, we will be bringing back Ben Rosenblum with his jazz trio. Ben is a graduate of Juilliard and Columbia, and one of the most extraordinary young musicians that we have had here. We're still figuring out how we get a piano outside, but we'll figure it out some way. Tickets are available. I know many people were disappointed that Peter and Will Anderson couldn't join us in January, but please, if you love good jazz, February 11th, Marco Island Center for the Arts, 5:30. Get your tickets. You can do it by calling 239-394-4221 or go to our website. You know it. It's www.marcoislandart.org. Tickets are just $25 for members and $30 if you're not. New announcement. Marco Island Center for the Arts will be hosting its golf tournament. Its annual golf tournament is going to take place Sunday, March 7th, 2021 at the Island Country Club here on Marco Island. We will be rolling out all of the information next Monday as soon as our gala is over this Saturday. I know it's a short period of time, but if you're a golfer, please come play, come support the Art Center. As Randy said, your support now is what enables us to continue to serve the needs of this community, whether you're 5 or 95, to bring classes and workshops, world-class exhibitions, events, programs, you name it, we're here for you. And we're here for you in the virtual world. So if you're not going out, we have virtual classes for you, and you can always join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our Art Center Live. Well, Randy, thank you again for joining us. It has really been wonderful. Again, people, jones.show. Go look it up. Go try it out. You'll be glad that you did. And to my friends out there, as I just said, you are part of the Marco Island Center for the Arts family. And we are what? We are your art home. Goodbye, everybody.